say that is L&D for people who love people, or maybe for people who love problems?
Great one. I would go with the second one. At the end of the day, if I just choose the first one, the problem with that is then it becomes a supporting function and not an enabling function. The second one becomes an enabling function. And if L&D has to become the enabling function, it has to support business and the business outcomes, the KPIs that the business or the CFO cares about. In that case, yes, they have to love problems. They need to be able to even understand the problems and how to decipher those problems, and then work with the leaders or the line managers to actually solve those problems. Moving away from just creating and delivering content or providing certain learning services, I think it is all about, at the end of the day, are the KPIs moving? Are we supporting the organization move to the next level in terms of their performance, in terms of readiness for the future skills, and also are we creating an infrastructure that will enable that learning? So that's the mindset I believe professionals need to have when they are choosing this kind of a career.
Absolutely. Thank you. Thanks so much for that. For the next part of my question probably would be, I hear a lot of advice that goes around. Right? You get certified on this, you learn design thinking, you master certain LMS tools, but you have been the hiring side for decades, which you just talked about. Right? What do you actually look for when you are hiring for your team in terms of either certificates or thinking capability or tool mastery? How do you go about it?
All right. So the short answer is what I'm looking for would depend on what the role is. Like I mentioned, there are different roles. So if I'm looking at more of an LMS administrator, naturally I'm going to look for some certification and experience working on learning management systems or learning experience systems, right? But if I was just a generic L&D professional, then I would definitely want to see certain competencies that the individual brings on board. Like I said, first and foremost, as a learning professional, how is my learnability, or how is that individual's learnability, is something that I would definitely look at. And then ability to also understand the learning ecosystem. So who are the stakeholders and who are the decision makers? How does the entire process from one end to the other end happen? How do I look at assessing the effectiveness? How are the programs getting designed? All of that end to end is what I would look at. But a short answer, like I said, would really depend on the role. And just to give you an example, let's say I was hiring somebody for an instructional design, then yes, I would look at understanding whether ID is something that the person has done either a certification or even at least understands what's a ADDIE model, what's a storyboarding, and how to use what are the different tools that can be used for instructional designing. Versus, let's say I'm looking for somebody who's more on the delivery side, then have they done at least a bare minimum TTT, a train the trainer, or some facilitation course? So yeah, I would typically go about based on that role. But yeah, in general, has to have an interest in being in L&D. I try to always probe whether what's drawing them to L&D, or is it even if it has been by chance, are they here to stay longer, or is it just a stopgap arrangement before I go and explore something else? So that's what I would do.